Hi, Lyndon. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. It's been a weird few months for everyone and quite a big few for your career. So, do you want to talk us through how you've been settling in at QPR in the first few months?
Yeah, it's been really good. Obviously, it's been a bit mad with the coronavirus moving down from Scotland, but it's been really good. I've settled in really well. Got all sorted from the house front, and coming into the club, the boys have been great. And yeah, I felt really at home, and yeah, so far it's been great.
Nice. And when we were planning for this interview, I was going to ask you what it was like to play for a football club where you've never played in front of the fans yet. Obviously, that situation has changed, and you had a couple of games in front of the fans. So, a slightly different question: what was it like playing in an empty Loftus Road, having never seen it with fans in? And was it any different having a few back?
Yeah, it was obviously a strange one. Obviously, moving to an amazing club like this, having a full stadium would be an amazing experience. So I can't wait for that to happen. Obviously, where I've played up in Scotland, there weren't as many fans, and it'll be just an amazing experience once we get a full stadium back. And obviously, when we did get the 2,000 fans in, it was really good just to get them back a bit of normality. Um, and it was, even though it was 2,000 people, it sounded really loud, and it was just strange, really. The whole experience has been strange, but it was good to get them back. Now, obviously, we're back in with no fans, so that's another one. But I think every footballer is just kind of getting through this period, and as well for the fans, I'm sure they're all be excited to get back as well. So hopefully they can get back soon.
And has it been difficult as a professional keeping your mindset kind of positive during those fanless fixtures? Is it a challenge for you?
Um, yeah, I think most players would say it is a bit strange, and it does help when the fans are in. Obviously, for the home advantage as well, it does help as well. And yeah, so but for myself, obviously not coming from a lot of fans watching and stuff like that, so it might affect other players more than myself. But yeah, it's just a weird experience for everyone. So yeah.
And in general, obviously at the moment, the results haven't been quite what a lot of people have been hoping for. Could you sort of let us know what's the morale like in training at the moment, and what's the general mood?
The morale's good. Obviously, we're all together. We all know that it's been disappointing for the results that we've been getting. We know that we should be doing better. So we're just sticking together, and sometimes it just goes at times like this. And as long as we stick together and we keep fighting, it will come out, and I'm sure we'll be fine. So yeah, everyone's good, and um, it's unfortunate that we've done this. It's been like this start of the season. Obviously, like we talked about before, with the fans not being here, it would have been good for them to get a bit of happiness from winning and being up the table. But we're doing what we can, and we're just practicing on the pitch. And yeah, we have to put our heads down, and we have to dig deep now and get ourselves back up to where we should be.
And with as much of a critical eye as you'd like to use for this, how would you rate your own performances recently?
I mean, it's obviously been hard. Just obviously not really going our way. I'm obviously moving to the championship. That's where I wanted to be, and obviously I am happy with getting a few goals early on, and um, yeah, I feel good. But obviously, there's always room for improvement, and I'm working every day trying to be the best I can. And obviously, this is new for me, but I'm just trying to do my best, and there's a lot more to come from myself. So yeah, I'm just working on myself, and hopefully I can keep scoring goals and more goals, and playing well for the team.
That's it. And I think a lot of people would have quite a lot to say about the style of football that we play as a club. Um, Being very attacking, being very positive, often very good to watch, but then often leaving us a little bit vulnerable as well. Do you think that vulnerability is something that just comes along with an attacking style of play? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think obviously, well, every club and every manager has different ways they want to play, and obviously when you do attack, it does leave gaps in the back and for the defence. But I think recently, obviously, we've trying to knuckle down a little bit and be more compact at the back and just as a team. So yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? We got a lot of flair players, and QPR have always had those kind of flair players on the side and attacking players like that. So yeah, as long as you're scoring goals and not conceding as more as you score, then you'll be fine.
And in terms of scoring goals, we heard from an interview with Mark Warburton recently that the schedule of this sort of hectic season has meant that you've not been able to properly train alongside Macaulay Bonne. So, I mean, how's it been, first of all, dealing with that hectic schedule?
Yeah, it's been like I said before, it's been obviously a new experience for myself coming down to the champ, and just it is relentless and playing every week. And I think this is obviously with internationals as well. It's been just game after game, and obviously with midweek games you can't really train as much as you can. But I mean, obviously me and Mac have trained a couple of times, but sometimes you just that happens, and we're all professionals and we can get on with it. And yeah, it's just stuff you got to get through. Obviously, it's just part and parcel of the championship. Really, everyone knows what it's like. So yeah, it's just is what it is, really.
And once the two of you are able to train together a little bit more, what sort of strike partnership do you see emerging there?
I mean, obviously, I think we can do great together. I think obviously we haven't really played much together as a two or together, but it just comes with time, and you can see when training. Obviously, when we do train and on Fridays before games and stuff like that, it is there. And once sometimes when you just play with players, you just automatically get that link up, and it doesn't really matter about training. And like I said before, we're all professionals and we all know what we want to do. So yeah, just obviously have to wait and see what happens.
And just to pipe in, Ben, do you prefer playing in a 2 and a 1 as a striker? We've seen you mainly utilised as part of that front three. Do you like being the lone target man, or would you prefer to have that sort of partnership where you could have someone to run after you, sort of help you out on the moves and the like?
I mean, I'm quite easy, to be fair. I think depending on what the manager wants, I'm quite versatile. Personally, obviously when I used to kind of play as a number 10 role, and then I went to last season more of a number 9 role as that focal point. So I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. Yeah, I can play either. I mean, I don't mind either. Obviously, if we're creating chances and we're pushing forward and everyone's getting chances and a lot of opportunities, then I think whatever works well for the team, it works well. And I think it's always good to have sometimes a link up top as well. So depending on what a manager wants or whatever the system they want to go with, I'm happy to do whatever. And I think obviously I feel like I'm a team player, and I work hard for the team in whatever role that I'm asked to do.
And so, kind of moving on to another aspect of your play, if we start talking about penalties. So last season we had Berriese on penalties, who had this kind of stuttered run-up that kind of felt like it almost shouldn't be allowed, left the keeper with no chance. And your penalties similarly leave the keeper with no chance, but in quite a different way. Do you want to talk us through the sort of mentality behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I took the first pen for Livingston last season, and the keeper saved it actually, and then that was me off the pens for the whole season, I think. And Stephen Lawless, he scored about 8 penalties that season. So obviously, I just practiced them, and just speaking with my ex-manager Davey, and we were kind of just practicing about smashing it. And then obviously my first one for QPR, I was confident just to put my laces through it, and then it's worked well. So I've kind of just stuck with that. And I mean, obviously I have to switch it up sometimes, but when it's working, it's working. So that's my head to it at the moment. And yeah, I mean, if you put power behind it, it makes it hard for the keeper. So yeah.
And kind of in terms of, I guess, the things that have influenced your play, obviously you've had maybe a slightly different career to a lot of your teammates, starting out from right and thinking in rugby league and sort of lower league Australian football. What do you think that adds to your game that experience?
Yeah, I think obviously I didn't really come through academies or I kind of started football later on in life, and I think just with the rugby league, and I went straight into men's football when I was about 15. It just helps you obviously toughen up, and playing with men that are going to get into you and be tough. And I didn't mind that. I quite liked it, so I think that helped me as well. Just coming here, and obviously it's very physical league in Scotland and down here. So yeah, I think sometimes not going through academies helps players. Sometimes they can be taught into certain things, and sometimes it takes away their natural ability or their flair kind of thing. So for myself, I think it was good. It would have been nice if I got into the professional side a bit younger, but it is what it is, and so far it's been going really great.
And when you signed for QPR, you talked about being quite a sort of rough and tumble sort of player, especially with the opposition. Do you ever have moments with that rugby league background when you're in a game in the Championship where you want to sort of put in a challenge that maybe would be allowed in rugby but not in football? Do you have to kind of think your way out of that still?
Yeah, obviously I do like getting a bit like rough with the defenders or players, and I don't mind that type of game. And if some players want to be like that, it's fine by me. And yeah, as long as I don't get red cards, I'm fine.
And Sam, if you've not got anything to add there, I think we'll move on to the Scotland side of things. Yeah, so Scotland. I mean, did you sleep at all the night after the game against Serbia?
No, I think I got to bed about 4 or 5 a.m. No, it was an amazing night for everyone, and it's definitely a night that I'll remember for the rest of my career, or the rest of my life.
And what's it been like jumping into that Scotland squad that's been probably building momentum for some time, and then you kind of rising straight through the ranks?
Yeah, it's been nuts. Obviously, getting my move to QPR was amazing. I was absolutely over the moon with it. And then, obviously, the international team come up, and that was the reason that I kind of did choose Scotland, because you look at the players, they've got amazing players, and I was confident and I believed in the squad they had. And yeah, just going in was another amazing feeling. But I just feel at home, and I just fit straight in, I would say. And to be fair, I don't think it could have went any better, to be honest. So yeah, it's been great so far.
And when you talk about choosing Scotland, I think that's something that kind of the process of that might seem quite alien to people who aren't on the inside of football as an industry. Could you sort of talk us through what it's like when you've got two national teams vying for your sort of attention, and just sort of day to day, like what that process was like choosing for you?
Yeah, it was definitely a hard one. Obviously, it was kind of coming to the decision when just before the first lockdown, and then obviously lockdown happened, so I had to wait through the whole lockdown, and then I had longer to decide. But yeah, it was tough. And obviously, I grew up in Australia, but my parents and my family, my little son's born in Scotland, and without Scotland, I wouldn't have the career that I had. They gave me the chance to have my football career, and I wanted to give something back to them. And I just kind of went with my gut feeling and my heart a little bit, and yeah, I didn't look back. And obviously, Australia could have been the easier route for World Cups and a lot more major tournaments, but I just wanted to kind of work hard. And like I said before, I was confident in the Scotland team, and obviously getting to the major tournament while being in the squad was an amazing feeling as well. So yeah, it was the right choice, and I'm hopefully have a great international career.
And during that period when you are having to decide, I mean, is it literally like managers phoning you up saying, "Come on, we could really use you in this team," or sort of how do they reach out when they ask you?
Yeah, so we played Celtic up in Scotland, and the assistant manager come and met me the next day. He was there watching, and then I had a meeting with him and just general talk with him about what they want to do and stuff like that. And obviously the manager from Australia, Graham Arnold, he was in contact with me a lot, and they were both great, the Australian staff. And yeah, they were just obviously on ringing me and speaking to me and asking what my thoughts were. And then obviously just spoke to Steve Clark at Scotland. And yeah, just at the end of it, it kind of comes down to a personal choice. And yeah, it was obviously amazing just to even get the opportunity to choose from two national teams. But in the end, I can only choose one.
And so we spoke to the folks at the Tartan Scarf, who are a Scotland fan site, and first of all, they absolutely love you. They mentioned praise you very highly. They've also got a theory that I'm interested in hearing what your thoughts are on it. So they mentioned that a lot of the younger Scottish players would have sort of grown up in Scotland during an era where they supported the national team, where the national team never really qualified for tournaments. And they reckon if they were growing up as those Scotland supporters who didn't expect much from the team, you might expect that the team lacked a bit of self-belief when these people end up being the Scotland players. They have a theory that Australian sport has more of a all or nothing kind of bring home the gold mentality that makes you a different kind of Scotland player. What do you make of this theory, and do you think it has any weight?
I think obviously growing up, not seeing how many years of heartache, like the teams failing to make major tournaments, did help. But I think it just helped as well being like a new face. Obviously, I just kind of popped out of nowhere, and then kind of come into the setup, and there was a couple of new other faces, and it just kind of lifted the boys a little bit. And then obviously, like I said before, I just kind of fit straight into the boys and the way they wanted to play. And I like to say that I'm confident. I like to say that I kind of breed that confidence into the team. And I would say it did help. And I'm not quite sure what to say, but just kind of just try to do my own thing and trying to just show the boys to be confident. Because if you go through the squad, the team's absolutely amazing.
And do you think Scotland's Lyndon Dykes is different to QPR's Lyndon Dykes, either in terms of how you play yourself or how you're deployed in the team?
No, I don't think so. Anyway, I just kind of go out and just try and do what I can do and do my best every game. And just obviously every game's different, and obviously playing with different players is different, and being different managers, and there's all different scenarios. But every time I go out to play, I just do my best and put my heart on my sleeve, and I'm there to fight for all my teammates and all the supporters as well. So just got to do my best, and hopefully I can keep my best is good enough, and hopefully I keep getting better as well.
Nice. And just as we sort of start to close out, I suppose, a few kind of fun ones about the squad. So who would you say is the funniest player in the QPR squad in the changing room?
Funniest. I'm going to have to go... I'll go Tom Carroll there. Tom Carroll, he's all right. He's got a bit of... I'll go Tom.
I mean, any sort of indication of what he's up to?
Just like a prankster, but just kind of he kind of starts it off, but no one knows it's him, kind of thing. Secret assassin, but he's quite funny. Yeah, he's good.
Nice. And scenario: you're in a game, you're one-on-one with a player from the QPR squad, trying to get past them. Who do you least want to be one-on-one with?
Least one-on-one. I will go Rob Dickey, because he's a big lump, and he'll come flying in. So I'd not like to go against him.
Nice. And obviously we've seen your penalties that you've taken, but I would say pretty much all of our penalty takers from the last few years are no longer with the club otherwise. So do you think, in terms of what you've seen in training, that you are the best penalty taker at the club?
Yeah.
No hesitation. And which of the youngsters in the team do you back to have a big career in the future?
I think there's a few, to be fair. I think obviously Ilias and Bright have been really good, and there's a lot of boys at the back room as well. What trained with us, Faisal has been really good, and I think obviously with QPR they always have a lot of good youngsters coming through, and I could name a few of them, but I think a lot of them will have a good future. And if those three obviously just knuckle down and keep working hard, then you never know what happens in the future.
Nice. Now, I just want to preface this by saying this wasn't a question that I was going to ask, but someone on our team on the website told me that I've got to ask it.
Nice.
We'd like to know what the inspiration has been behind the various hairstyles that you've modelled throughout your career, and whether we can expect to see any new ones popping up soon.
I just like to switch it up, to be honest. I just like to be a bit different compared to everyone else. Everyone's got the same haircuts these days, but yeah, I don't know. I just ended up dyeing them, and obviously watched The Last Dance. Dennis Rodman, he dyes his hair, and I ended up just dyeing my hair. And obviously, I dyed my hair rainbow for the NHS workers up in Livy, and so yeah, I think I'll have to mix it up soon and get a hairstyle back, and hopefully brighten it up for the fans or whoever wants to watch. So we'll have to get a little vote, and I can do whatever the fans want me to do. So yeah, whatever they want.
And finally, just as we're a sort of youth-focused site, we thought it might be worth asking a question a bit like this. As you mentioned, you got into football a little bit later than most, but wondering, what do you think the biggest lesson is that you've learned since you were kind of in your teens and playing in the Gold Coast Premier League?
I just think anything can happen, really. I think, only a few years ago I was working full-time in a factory and just playing for fun, really, and now I'm here and playing internationals and at a massive club like QPR. So for any players out there and anyone young, any knockbacks, or if you don't make academies or you don't have enough money to be in academies or at other clubs, you just got to keep working hard. And sometimes you need a bit of luck, but sometimes it's down to your determination. And once you get the sniff or once you get an opportunity, you have to make sure you take it with both hands.
Excellent. And I'm sure a lot of our readers will be happy to hear QPR referred to as a massive club. Sam, have you got any more questions?
A couple of things. Obviously, as Ben mentioned, we are a youth-centered website. We give a platform to lots of up-and-coming writers who want to go into sports media. So these are also the QPR fans who haven't been QPR fans for very long. So they've had some ups and some downs and bits all around, especially this year. Someone who's very much stuck into the QPR lifestyle at the moment, do you have any words of wisdom to those QPR fans who are maybe just at the beginning of their life sentence of supporting the club?
Yeah, I just think at the moment, obviously, hasn't been running as smooth as we would like to it for game senses. So as long as they just stick by us and just keep being positive, I'm sure we'll be fine. And everyone knows that QPR is a big club, and we want to get them back to the top. And yeah, just as long as everyone just stays positive and make sure we gets behind us, and I'm sure we'll be fine in the future. And yeah, that's about it, really, I think.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Lyndon, for your time.
No worries, mate.